Germany's Nachtjagdwaffe, or her night fighter force, was created in July of 1940. The main aircraft types of the nocturnal aerial defense were the Messerschmitt Bf 110, which was originally a long-range escort fighter, and the Junkers Ju-88, which was originally a medium bomber. So basically, these were modifications of fighters and bombers originally intended for daylight use. But the German company Heinkel designed a plane from the ground up to fight in the dark. The Heinkel 219 was one of the most innovative night fighters of World War II, but German bureaucracy shut it down. Like all air forces, the Luftwaffe hated single-mission aircraft. They wanted airplanes that can drop bombs, do reconnaissance, carry torpedoes, and fly close air support. The Heinkel 219 could do nothing but fly at night to shoot down large, slow bombers. During the day, it was large and slow. The hardest battles that the Heinkel 219 fought were political. The airplane was repeatedly cancelled by the Reichsluftfahrtministerium, or the German Aviation Ministry, and then ordered back into production by its enthusiasts in the Luftwaffe. At the end, fewer than 300 Heinkel 219 Uhu, as it was unofficially named after the large eagle owl, had been manufactured. The Heinkel's most serious opponent was Erhard Milch, the field marshal in charge of German aircraft production. Besides intensely disliking the designer Ernst Heinkel, Milch wanted to rely upon night fighters based on existing designs, especially the versatile and proven Junkers Ju-88. Quantity trumped quality, Milch believed. Better to have hordes of good night fighters rather than a few great ones. Designed in 1941 and first flown in 1942, the Uhu entered combat in June of 1943. With 3 fuselage fuel tanks, it was able to loiter for 4 or 5 hours to wait for ground radar to find its targets, while other Luftwaffe night fighters typically had to go back to base after 90 minutes or so. Its cockpit was superbly laid out and roomy in an era when pilots typically worked amid switches and instruments. At one point it was even suggested that the Heinkel's entire bolt-on 2-seat cockpit unit be grafted onto the Junkers Ju-88. The Heinkel 219's ordnance was overpowering. A maximum of 2 cannons in the wing roots, 4 more in a belly tray under and behind the cockpit, and yet another pair in an upward-angled Schräge Musik installation amidships. The guns were not only overpowering but overkill. 1 or 2 well-aimed rounds from a 30mm cannon would almost certainly be enough to bring down a bomber, and 6 simply sealed the deal. Only one Luftwaffe night fighter group, the first group of the Nachtjagdgeschwader, so Night Fighter Wing 1, had been apportioned nearly all of the existing Heinkel 219s, many of them still production prototypes. On the night of its combat debut on the 11th of June 1943, one Heinkel attacked a large stream of Royal Air Force bombers headed towards Düsseldorf. In an hour or so, a single Uhu crew shot down 5 of the big bombers and headed for home only because they had expended all their ammunition. Claims have been made that in the next days, 3 Heinkel pre-production aircraft shot down a total of 20 Royal Air Force aircraft, including 6 of the previously untouchable de Havilland Mosquito fighter bombers. But keeping the complex Heinkel 219 operable became increasingly problematic as the war progressed. One pilot wrote, quote, "It was rare that more than 10 machines took off on a night mission, usually less, and of those, half either returned immediately after takeoff or were forced to land within the next half an hour on account of malfunctions or problems. In the majority of the cases, it was onboard electrics that failed." End quote. If hundreds or thousands of Heinkel 219s had been built, would they have changed the war? Well, not really. Maybe they could have forced the Royal Air Force to change strategy and to join the United States Army Air Force in day bombing. So it means that the German single-seat fighters would have more work and a new opponent. When Germany finally surrendered in May of 1945, few Heinkels remained. The Royal Air Force ferried 5 of the 8 flyable Heinkel 219s from a night fighter base in Denmark to England and sent the remaining 3 to Cherbourg, where they and a number of other Luftwaffe aircraft were loaded aboard a British escort carrier and shipped to Newark, then flown to Freeman and the Wright Fields in Indiana and Ohio. At Freeman Field, one of the Uhus was reassembled and test flown for nearly 15 hours. It was the last time a Heinkel 219 would ever fly. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to make sure you don't miss my future work, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you and see you in the next video.